Oh, hello. In our first 12 months as a business, we earned over $100,000 in revenue. What can you learn from this, and how can you apply these lessons in your business to grow even faster? My name is Matt Ackerson. I'm the founder of Petovera, home for businesses who want to grow by building an online sales engine. And in this video, I'm going to answer that question and more. Howdy. All right, so let's dig into it. I was a little nervous to actually go forward with this article and share it with the world. To some people, $100,000 is probably impressive. To others, it's probably nothing. But in either case, I look at it as an achievement to have reached that level in our first year, especially since we had zero outside investment, completely bootstrapped. And yeah, so whether you are a small business owner, an entrepreneur, or a marketer, I think that there's something in this article for you. So let's go through it. So I start out in the article by sharing, what was, how did we reach that level? What was our profit for the end of the year? What did it look like on the slope up? And then at the end of the year, we had a drop. And in the article, I go into the explanation of why that drop actually occurred at the end. And for the first lesson, I would say that if you want to get to this level and beyond in your business, especially if you're just starting a new business, you got to begin with a focused mindset. I remember when I graduated college, I was working on this other startup. It was called BlueSkyLocal.com. Worked on that for about 14 months. Spent most of that time really building up the software, but then when we had a product and we had about 3, 4 paying customers, I quickly realized that I had no idea what I was doing in terms of marketing. I mean, the only type of marketing I knew how to do was going door to door, knocking and talking to people, which actually worked, but it was rather difficult to scale a business that way. Anyway, that business ran out of money. I decided to shut it down, and I had to move back home with my family for a few months, and I wasn't sure what to do next. So after some reading and soul searching and getting some really great mentorship from a good friend of mine, Sharon Dowk, I was able to figure out, what actually I wanted to do next, which was a combination of, what was I naturally good at, what did I enjoy, and what could I realistically make money doing. So I realized I wanted to build a web design company. And to me, I had this bigger vision behind it as well. So I felt like it could be more than this, just a small service lifestyle business. So I started out with great enthusiasm, and that took us pretty far to begin with. I think that enthusiasm, that energy, really kind of flowed into the business, and that was a big part of the, getting that result the first year. Lesson number 2, email and in-person networking events are the fastest, most cost-effective ways to generate revenue, period. So I really believe this, and I can tell you this from experience because the Petovera business was literally launched on a single email. I sent out an email to about 400 or 500 contacts, people who I had met in person at some point, either while I was running my previous company or while I was a lowly college student, just trying to figure out, the whole concept of making money and building a business. So I sent out an email to these 400 or 500 people, and I got back a couple of leads. One of them turned into our first client, and we were off to the races. Furthermore, I got our second client, who was also very sizable as far as revenue. I got that client from going out to in-person networking events. A lot of in-person networking events are pretty hit or miss, so it's a bit of trial and error. But as far as starting a business, it is, along with email, the fastest way to start generating revenue. Lesson number 3, profit is a simple formula, but it's easy to get wrong. So in the article, I go into an example of this, but briefly, there was one project where I was compensating one of our contractors that we partnered with to get the project done hourly, and for the client, between Pedovera and the client, the budget was fixed. So you can imagine how the longer the contractor worked, the less there was profit left over. So it wasn't a very profitable project. So I quickly learned that lesson. I think I made the same mistake one more time before I truly learned it. But yeah, you want to make sure that revenue is always greater than your costs in order to turn a profit, and make sure that incentives are aligned. Lesson number 3, avoid putting all your eggs in one basket. So we had one or two really big clients that first year, and they accounted for maybe about 50 to 60% of our revenue. And I mean, it was fine. It was fine by us. We grew quickly. They really helped us to kind of finance and build up our business from nothing that first year. And we created a lot of value for them. But it was a poor mistake strategically to not act sooner and go out and learn what I needed to learn and research, because those clients probably, I failed to recognize that those clients probably wouldn't be around forever. Either they would go out of business, or we would just finish projects for them, and there might be long spaces of time, which there was, where they would just want to kind of focus on different initiatives that they had, something like this. So and that was part of the reason for the drop off at the end of that first year in terms of revenue for us. We really weren't prepared for a pause in work on those couple of big projects that we're working on. So lesson number 4, grow your business on top of what's already working. So this is really the second big reason why we saw that drop at the end of the year. So we actually built up a large cash reserve, and because I did to some extent recognize the risk of having one or two large clients, really kind of bankrolling our company, I said, we need to get away from this. We need to do something that's going to have recurring revenue. And so we decided to invest in creating our own web app, an email marketing app. And we spent about between $20,000 to $40,000, or at least $20,000 within that first 12-month time span. And we really never hit any of the software development deadlines that we set out. And because I was emotionally invested in kind of making this leap, making this transition, I didn't have the clarity of sight to see, okay, we should stop working on this and invest those marketing dollars in Google AdWords or something else, something that would yield a return on investment for what our core business was in the first place. Because what happened was we were actually going in two directions at that point, and it was very unhealthy for the company. So I think even if it had worked out, even if we had managed to make that leap, I think it still would have been a poor decision. So don't make that mistake. Stay focused, build on top of what's already working. Lesson number 5, hire slow, fire fast. So towards the end of that year, I had to make some tough decisions. I actually had to let go most of the team because we really weren't making those development milestones. And also, the projects that we were working on for these large clients had either been completed or were put on hold. So I actually took a month to make a decision about who to let go, because again, I think I let my emotions maybe clouded my judgment a little bit. I wanted to figure out how do we get more clients, how do we maybe make this leap into this other product, into this email marketing SaaS app. But that didn't really pan out. So I had to make the hard choice, and ultimately I did make it to let go most of our team. And it turned out to be a good decision, I think, long term. But the key takeaway here is, if people aren't producing results, we weren't making those deadlines with actually developing the software. And also we weren't really out selling, even though myself and one other person was responsible for that. You don't want to work with people who are you don't want to let people who aren't producing results linger. You want to work with people who are honest and who deliver results. And the reason I use the word honest is because one of those developers actually ended up poaching one of the clients later on after we let him go. So work with people who are honest, who deliver results and let everyone else go by the wayside. Lesson number 6, if you're a B2B company, investing in getting Facebook likes is worthless. I covered this in an article about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I'm not going to talk too much about it here, but bottom line, Facebook's page reach is dropping, and you really should just focus on building out assets that you own and you control, like your website and your email list. I wasted about $1,000 that first year on ads that drove more people to like our page and really never got anything back for it. Lesson number 7, don't expect to get lucky, build a lead generation system. So this is the whole concept here at Pedovera of building a sales engine. It's really a big part of what we do as a business today. We help businesses to build landing pages and build out their website sales funnel with a combination of conversion-focused design and email marketing services. So a couple of the big takeaways here are, in order to do that, one of the best ways to do that today is to do regular content marketing. For example, blog on a daily or at least on a weekly basis. You can see in the graph here how traffic quickly went up when we were blogging on a daily basis. What I didn't know then that I know now was 2 things. Number 1, if you're creating content, you want to get your positioning right. I was just kind of blogging randomly about things that I thought were cool, and sometimes they would hit and traffic would spike, and that was great, but I didn't position the articles well, so it wasn't our target audience. And number 2, 70% of the visitors to your website will never actually return, and the way that you want to combat this is by building up your email list, by converting them into email subscribers. And I wrote a bit about this last week, so you can check out that article on how to build your email list, how we built our email list, and how you can too, 630% faster. So finally, a bonus. Don't forget to enjoy the ride. Life is short, and at the time, that first year, I think I mentioned how it was very stressful. It was also a very happy, exciting time simultaneously. But looking back, if I could go back and do it again, I definitely don't regret anything. But I think in the future, what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to take more time off. I'm trying to spend more time away from work, away from the computer, to kind of recharge, to kind of get inspired again. Because there are a few times that first year where I felt like I was burning out. I really didn't want to even get out of bed. So don't forget to enjoy the ride. Definitely take time for yourself and take time to recharge and get re-inspired. So if you want the bonus, we have a featured bonus this week, and where I give you the exact email template that I use to generate leads and get responses in that first year. Click on the link if you're on YouTube, which will take you directly to the article. Or if you're watching this video on the page, click on go find the yellow box above this video or at the bottom of the article and click to download that. I think you'll really like it. It's called my 7-point perfect newsletter checklist. All right. So I will see you in the comments, and thanks for watching.